because Matt has to go to a swing rehearsal. But I will explain my project first, and then at the end of mine we'll actually have a 10-minute intermission so that we can set up Krista's set, and she'll give you the spiel on hers. For my project, I wanted to experiment a little bit with like a character that I had, a different archetype that I had ever actually gone with or played with an inner life with before. And I also wanted to implement that in different parts of an arc. So if you notice, if you have a program, you'll notice that it's scene 1 and scene 5 from the same play. So I wanted to be the same character at different points in a time of stress and after the post-trauma of building their psyche back up. So it's also an Irish play, so bear in mind that a lot of the language and the rhythm is not American, so that is intentional on my part. And I think that is about it as far as I have to say. Thank you for coming.
Yay!
Oh, I wanted to work on my voice too. Come out of my throat.
Yay!
Hello!
Hello.
Come in, come in.
God, the parking around here is horrendous, isn't it?
I know.
I left myself a bit of time to find a spot, but I was like a curb crawler out there just looking for a spot.
I know. I mean, I've only been here 2 weeks, and I'm not entirely sure between ourselves that, because there's many disadvantages.
Oh, I ended up parking in the hospital in the end. It's my own fault, really. I should have done that in the first place, but...
No, I should have. Like I said, I'm only sort of getting myself sorted out.
Oh, well,
here,
I'm here now. That's the main thing,
Yes.
So,
well, good.
Yeah. That's the important thing, anyway. Can I,
Please. So, John, how are you?
I'm good, I've never, actually been to see anybody before,
Okay, well, that's all right.
And,
I have a letter here.
Right.
From Dr. Casey.
Yeah, he wanted me to see somebody, but we couldn't get an appointment for like 4 months or something.
Okay. And you haven't been sleeping so well, is that right?
Yeah.
Which can be very debilitating, I know.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Can I help?
Of course, please.
Sorry.
It's fine.
God. You have the tissues ready and everything. I'm recently bereaved. I don't know if Dr. Casey, Anyway, my wife, she passed away a few months ago, and she died in horrific circumstances, really.
Okay.
And a stolen car ran into her. She was in a taxi, and she was trapped in the car, and there was just no way that she could survive. And I was too late getting to the hospital. And the reality of that has been,
I can...
and we have no kids. And I've been on my own an awful lot. I've really been on my own an awful lot,
Okay.
And I don't know where she was that night or where she was going to or coming from because we weren't, communicating at the time, you understand me?
Okay.
No one else was hurt. But I've seen her.
Sorry, you've seen her?
In the house. She's been in the house.
You?
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
since
Since she.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Anyway, a few months ago, I met up with my brother. I have a brother, Jim, and anyway, we met up for a beer, and sorry, are we just gonna go straight into this, or?
Oh no, well just whatever you. I mean, whatever you want. I mean, you were going, so I'd like to.
No, sorry, I just wasn't sure if, so, anyway, basically my brother and I, we don't get on, but we've drifted, and since the funeral, he's been there for me and just very supportive, but, up to a certain point, I just don't feel like I have the right to infringe on his family and his privacy, so we've drifted again. And so anyway, this night that I'm telling you about a couple months ago, the whole time I could just feel that it was like a sympathy vote, like we had very little to talk about in the way of anything, and he's very quiet basically anyway, so, and I was kind of annoyed, and I just fucking went home, and I didn't notice anything untoward when I got in the door, only now because I heard it again later, but there was this noise. It was the sound of an ice cream truck. And it's weird, it's impossible because they don't go around at night. And I didn't think anything of it when I went in the door, but in the dark when I was going across the living room to turn on the lights, I got this feeling that someone was behind me. And I turned around and she was standing there, staring at me through the door.
Your wife?
Yeah. And it was just terrifying, I just kind of fucking jumped. And that feeling, it's like if you ever see a dead body, that feeling, it's so strange, but it's real.
Well, and what happened then?
Well, I just don't know how long we were standing there just staring at each other, but it's like when you're a kid and you get a fright, like in a nightmare, or you see something, but then you wake up or you realize that nothing's there, but this was just like that, but only it was real, and it just didn't stop. She was just there, and it was real, and it was terrifying.
Well, and did you?
Well, eventually, I knew that I had to get out of the house, so I just managed to breeze past her out the door. And there I was, just standing in my front yard without a coat on, in the middle of the night, just out there. And so I just got into my car. I mean, what could I do? And where I live is a quiet cul-de-sac. And, I've tried to get on with the neighbors, but those people, ugh. And so there I was, just sitting in my car, just staring at my house, just terrified out of my mind. So what could I do? So I just drove away down to this little B&B, And the woman behind the counter, I knew that she thought that something was weird about me because it was so late and I had no luggage, and she must have thought that I had gotten into a fight or something.
Well, you didn't go to your brother?
No, I had left him earlier, No.
Well, and was there anybody that you told?
No. I guess the next morning I just figured that I just figured that I had to go back, I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? So I called him at work and told him I wouldn't be in, and I guess because it was bright out, or for some reason I was just able to go back,
But you didn't tell anybody what had happened?
No, I suppose I should have, but no. I mean, I guess I just rationalized that maybe I hadn't seen anything, that it was just my imagination, that maybe just the fucking grief, I suppose.
Of course. Well, did you see her again?
Well, the next time I didn't see anything. I was in the bath.
How long was this after?
2 days later, not long.
Okay.
And you might say it's crazy, but I mean, I have to get on with my life.
Well, I know.
And so there I was, just sitting in the bath, just trying to relax. It It was very late again, and I had the radio on, and I was listening to James Brown, and I had the door closed to the bathroom. And you know, you might say it's weird, but I guess it made me feel more secure, you know, more safe. But then I got like this feeling that I wasn't alone in the house. Not even just like a sound, just a feeling. And so I turned off the radio, and I was about to get up. And then I hear her just pounding on the door, just screaming, "John! John!"
God.
I know. It was terrifying, and I slipped, and I fell, and I really bruised my shoulder and my hip. And I know you're going to say that this is crazy, but by the time that I was actually managed to, you know, collect myself, I went to the door and opened it, but there was nothing there. And you're going to say that it was a dream or something, but at the same time I was completely frantic. Do you know what I mean?
Of course you were. I mean, what did you...
Back down to the B&B. What could I do?
Okay.
I'm still there.
You're still...
Yeah. I mean, what can I do? I mean, I have to sell the house. That's where I'm at this point. I mean, I'm completely on my own. I'm not working. I mean, the woman at the B&B is very nice, but I think that she thinks that something's off with me. And her husband is an architect. And the other morning at breakfast, he was asking me all these questions. And I wasn't sure what to make of it. At the same time, I think that they think that I'm a nutcase or something.
Okay. Well...
Do you believe me?
Well, let's just get some information first. Is that all right?
Okay.
Okay, John, how old are you?
28.
And what do you do?
I'm a rep for a catering service on an independent basis.
And do you have any
Wait!
history...
Do you believe me?
I'm sorry?
Do you believe me that what I'm saying to you is happening to me?
I believe you. I believe you in that I don't think you're making it up.
I'm not making it up.
I know, I believe that you're experiencing something, but I mean, if you're asking me to believe in ghosts,
Well, can you help me with this? Because I really don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do here.
I know. You're not on your own now, okay? We'll work through this, all right? Don't worry. Don't worry.
Crazy job they gave me. But if I wasn't doing it, someone else would be. And they might get it wrong. They might set Arthur up. They might plant drugs on him or inflict a reward or something. It's better that it be me, despite the disadvantages. You know, protecting everyone from Barris, that's justification in itself, you know. What the hell am I talking about? I know Bob Arthur. He's a good person. He's not into anything bad. At least, not too bad. I mean, he works for the Orange County Sheriff's Office, covertly, which is probably why Barris is after him. And you know, whatever is happening in this house, something big is happening here. This run-down, rubble-filled house with its weed-patched yard and cat box that never gets emptied. What a waste of a perfectly good house. I mean, a family should live here. I mean, that's what it's built for. It ought to be confiscated and put to better use. I mean, I'm supposed to pretend like they're not here. Supposing that there's a they at all. I mean, it's probably all in my imagination, but whatever's watching me, it's not human. Unlike little dark-eyed Donna. What does a scanner see? Into the head? Down into the heart? Can it see into me? Into us? Clearly or darkly? I hope that it can see clearly because I can no longer see into myself. All I see is murk. I pray that the scanners can see better. Because if they see darkly, the way that I do, then I'm cursed and cursed again, knowing very little and getting that bit wrong too. What's the matter?
They killed Micah's child.
Yes, that was poorly handled. Sometimes those with the most power have the least grace. You know, you remind me of another girl that I once acquired from a Lycine pleasure house. You know, she was very beautiful, much like yourself, and intelligent, like yourself. But only she wasn't very happy. I asked her why, but we didn't have the rapport that you and I have. Anyway, girls from Lycine pleasure houses are extremely expensive. And this one wasn't making me any money. And I had no way to make her happy, no way to mitigate my losses. Until one day, a very wealthy patron came to me and offered me a tremendous amount of money to transform this lovely, sad girl and use her in ways that wouldn't occur to most men. But you know what occurs to most men. Now, I wouldn't say that I succeeded in making her happy, but my losses were definitely mitigated. Take the rest of the night off to mourn Micah's child. On the morrow, you'll resume your regular duties, and you'll be happy. Good. That makes me happy. I've got a question.
Mr. Moderator, this man is a convicted felon. We don't let felons vote in the state of Kentucky.
Well, I didn't come here to vote.
Well, you wouldn't be here at all if it weren't for the fact that a few hours ago, your friends in federal law enforcement saw fit to intervene in our local affairs. He's been released from his cold jail cell after a failed attempt on my life.
Mr. Napier, I'd like to think that if I were behind an attempt on your life, at the very least I would have messed up your hair. My question for Mr. Napier is, does he know the name of the company that got Shelby fired from his security job? Well, I'll save you the trouble. The name of that company is Black Pike Coal. Now, you expect us all to believe that Shelby here's a dishonest man because Black Pike tells us so? You think Shelby's the only man that's been done wrong in this room by a coal mining company?
Mr. Moderator, how many questions are you going to let this convict ask?
Mr. Napier, everyone in this room knows that a coal mining company only don't do wrong by the company man. And you stand up there with your slick haircut. You look down on Shelby because this man works for a living. And you talk down to me because I've been in trouble with the law. Well, you want to know when the trouble all began? Why don't you ask your friend Harvey Jones there? He was there when we struck out at Eastover, Brookside, Duke Power, power scabs and gun thugs coming at us with bicycle chains and bats, trying to run us over in their cars.
Now, I know that you weren't there, Mr. Napier, but there were an awful lot of men there who looked like you. A man standing on the company side. Now, I ain't saying that you're a bad man, Mr. Napier. Now, that I do not know. But what I do know is that you've been feeding from the public trough for far too long, laughing at all us hillbillies for standing up for what we believe in. Now, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm going to say no to the company man. I'm going to say no to the law enforcers who disrespect the rights of the very citizens whose taxes help pay for their salaries. And I'm going to say no, I'm going to say no, I'm going to say no to Sheriff Tillman Napier, who laughs in our faces, while he makes money off our backs.
Oh, hello.
Hey, sorry, I'm barging in on you.
No, I just couldn't hear.
Oh no, I've had this fucking, because I wanted to get you something.
Oh, no.
Oh, and I've been driving around with it in the trunk of my car for like the past 6
Oh,
weeks,
no.
and so it's nothing.
Well, here, sit down. There's nowhere to sit.
And so I was, it's a lamp, And so I was driving by and I figured it's lunchtime. He probably won't have anyone there, so I'll just stop by and,
No, I actually.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're
I mean, well, it's lucky you. I mean, I'm moving. I'm going.
You're moving your office?
No, I'm moving. My fiance. Well, I'm moving down to Virginia, believe it or not.
Virginia?
Yeah. Well, my fiance is down there, and with our baby, and a friend lent her a house down there. So
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah.
And I have an interview for a job down there. So.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what they say about Virginia? It's a tough
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Well.
Uh,
Here, let me move some of this stuff.
oh no! I'm not gonna stay really.
Well, no. Look, I mean, the coffee's on, so we're still. I mean, how are you keeping?
I'm good. I mean, I'm getting there. Thank God.
Yeah.
But I'm good. Really.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we're both.
Yeah, we're both moving. I've actually just bought an apartment.
Oh.
Yeah. I've actually just gotten finished with the legal, which can be a nightmare, as you know.
Well, I mean, if it's what you gotta do.
Yeah. You should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. I have no eye for these things, but the girl in the shop, really, it was her. I mean, she asked who it was for, and I was like, God, I know nothing about this man. But sure. And anyway, so I told her it's just a thank you present, really.
Oh,
So
God, no.
yeah. Oh, it's nothing, and she.
Oh my God.
And
This is too much.
no, it's nothing really.
Is it? It's an antique.
Yeah, it's from the 30s or fucking something. I don't know.
This is too much.
Oh, please, do you like it?
Well, it's beautiful, really.
Well, I want to say thank you, really.
Thanks,
and,
John.
Oh, and
Here's a little card to go with the.
God.
Read it later.
God, I don't know what to say now.
There's.
Well, let me get you some coffee.
Oh, I'm great, really.
Well, no, I mean, sit here. Sit.
Okay.
Here.
All right.
So, God, how are you keeping?
Oh, the apartment, it's actually, it's down there on the ocean, just down there near the park.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, those ones there.
Yeah, I know there.
Yeah, it's nice. Oh, and I've actually been in the house in the past month.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you take sugar?
No, I'm fine.
Good, because I don't.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't take it that way anyway, so, yeah.
And you're good in yourself?
Yeah.
And
there was a time that I couldn't have even thought that I could have, gone back into the house, but,
well, I mean, that's great.
I don't want to be some old guy on his own in that house. That house has everything to do with me and Mary, and, it was too big for two people. It was too big when we moved in.
Mm-hmm.
If there had been kids, sure, but that didn't happen. And I just don't see why I should stay in that house out of some mad fucking duty to fucking.
I know.
We create these fucking.
I know.
These crazy.
I know. Yeah, God.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, Oh, which is why I wanted to say thank you, really, and.
Well, like I said, you did the work.
Yeah, and I just don't know what I would have.
Well, that's great. That's great. I'm glad to hear.
My
that
fucking brother introduced me to a woman.
Oh.
Yeah, him and his wife have been trying to get me over to theirs for, dinner for fucking ever. And, most of the time I can do without that, yeah, right. And so I went over there, and there was this girl there who had actually worked, coincidentally, where I had.
Mm-hmm.
And, we got to talking, and, she's a good deal younger than me, but...
Well...
Yeah, I know, what fucking difference does it make? But if she was a good bit older than me, then the shoe might well be on the other fucking foot. But she's a nice girl,
Right.
Oh, yesterday we went to the movies and got a beer.
Oh.
And tomorrow we're going to the opera.
Oh.
I know, right? Good luck.
Well, that's great, John. Sounds like you're doing really well.
Yeah, I'm getting on with it, I just feel like a whole new chapter is opening up in my life, Oh, God, you know who I saw?
Yeah?
Vivian.
Yeah?
Vivian, the object of my...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I ran into her at a party, and, we talked, and she had great sympathy for me, really, but, it was really like nothing had ever really happened between us, And I came away thinking, I have nothing in common with this woman, Serious fucking shit, I kid you not.
Well,
I came away thinking, I don't even like this woman.
God, John, it sounds like you're doing really well.
Yeah, I'm getting on with it. I'm just taking it easy. I'm really moving on, and it was a great help. You were a great help, and that's why I wanted to say thank you, really. And I wish you all the best.
God, John, I wish you all the best too. Really, and I hope you know that it's really great what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I only came so I better.
Well, like I said, I do have to have the keys back by this afternoon.
Do you want a hand with anything?
No.
Are you sure?
No, I'm nearly there now.
Okay.
So, no ghosts?
Nope. No ghosts. But I'll tell you, man, seeing something is one thing, but it's what it does to you, that the feeling. Someone can see something, and it doesn't really matter, and someone else can see it, and it's the end of the world! But, you gotta figure it out, Ian. You don't believe in ghosts.
John, there was a time where I would have given anything to see one. Just to know that there was something else. Something beyond all the pain and confusion. Something to make it all make sense,
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about God, really, you know.
I know. Where is he?
But, you know, don't get me wrong. I think you had a real experience. I think you really experienced something. But I think it happened because you needed to experience it. You were pulling all this, I mean, you felt like you had to suffer in order to get through that, and it happened. But I don't think that you saw a ghost. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me now, but there was a time that it really wouldn't have, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that was a different time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the mind, it's a crazy thing, isn't
We
it?
just know nothing, John. We know nothing.
We're just barely fucking hanging in there.
Some better than others.
Oh,
But you are doing great.
Yeah. Look, I'll love you to leave you. Good luck with everything.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
And thanks for the present, really. It really is so thoughtful.
Oh, no problem. Good luck with everything. I'll see you.
Bye now, John.
Bye.
All right.
Woo!